Welcome back, everybody, and we are talking about Asia Broadband. Now, if you were signed up for my channel membership, you channel members got access to this one early. That is one of the perks of being a member. Whenever I make videos on stocks, that's one of the things you guys will get access to, is basically just learning about these opportunities before I announce them publicly on the channel. So it's $6.99 a month. It's a great way to support the channel. Another way, if you want to support the channel, is you can check out all the tools on daily investment advice. I've really been working hard on this. It's a lot of tools. Check it out in the description. But basically, this website, this is on my admin side here that I've been working on. But all of this right here is for you guys, real quick. $6.99 per month. Once again, you get access to a ton of tools. So check that out if you're interested as well. Both are separate. Channel memberships are the videos, and then this is separate as well. But both are great ways to support the channel if you're interested. Anyway, let's get into it. So AABB stock is going to be the company, Asia Broadband Incorporated. Now, for those of you guys who are unaware, this one went on a parabolic run back in 2021. Now, I remember seeing this, and I remember seeing this under a penny, actually, and I did not buy the stock, but I did see it go parabolic shortly after. And in fact, if you look at the total market capitalization here at the peak, 65 cents per share. Do you know how much the market capitalization was at that time? I remember this like it was yesterday. 1.6 billion. Guys, I repeat, 1.6 billion was the market cap. Now, in total stock market terms, 1.6 billion is actually not that much. But for an over-the-counter stock that suddenly jumps from a fraction of that valuation to a peak of 1.6 billion, it was quite a dramatic show. Now, as you can see, since then, the company has been on the downtrend. And I'm going to look at the fundamentals as well. But I do think these technicals are lining up for a potential of maximum opportunity. And what I mean by that is when you look at your point of maximum opportunity in the market, what is the golden rule of investing? The golden rule: buy low, sell high. The thing that is so overcomplicated and is so difficult, yet it's the fundamentals of essentially the stock market, right? Like you cannot invest if you don't know how to buy low and sell high, specifically if you're focused on growth. Now, dividends and passive income, that's different because you're focused on income, right? But as far as this goes, I mean, look how much this stock has come down. Now, it did hit a peak of 6 cents all the way down from 1 cent, and that's roughly where it's trading at right now. So it's at a very, very solid support level. And I would say it has not seen this level, as you can see, in quite some time. So 0.012, 0.013, trading all the way down here, right? So 0.012, 0.013, and then here we are again. So is this going to be another bottom is the question right here. It's lining up to potentially bottom out right at these levels, which would be your maximum point of opportunity. That's why I'm bringing this to your attention. So although the channel members got access to this early, like a few days early, I think it was like 5 or 6 days early when I made the video, but you guys are getting access to this now as well. And I'm giving you this opportunity because obviously there's no guarantees in the market, but I really like the technicals on this. I think this was something that stood out to me, just going back to these support levels of the past, 0.014, 0.013, we are right there at that range. 0.0142 is the current, looks like bid/ask. Look at how long this level of support has been held. So if we continue to get positive news and information, fundamentals that positively impact the sentiment of the stock, then I think there's a good chance we could bounce off this level. As you can see, we already hit 5 cents almost here. So back to 5 or 6 cents does not seem unreasonable. Now this is in 2024. Here's the thing, right? So let's look at the share structure. Let's look at everything in terms of this company. But those technicals, I think, are really lining up for this thing to make a move at some point. So security details, if we look at $58 million in market cap, 4.1 billion shares outstanding. This used to be less. It was under 3 billion shares outstanding, I think, in 2021. But 4.1 billion, not a crazy amount of dilution, a relatively clean share structure. So yeah, they've raised money over the years, but not a crazy amount. And so if you look at the news here, in terms of, here it is. So Asia Broadband, gold and silver production and gross profit upward trend continues in the third quarter as gold and silver holdings appreciate beyond $38 billion. One thing that I did mention in my last video for the members was that if you look at their balance sheet, if you look at everything, they have a lot of assets. And in fact, their balance sheet looks very, very good. So the assets here, it looks like the holdings were 38 million, but now the market value is 76 million. So basically greater than 100% or more than double the book value of the gold and silver holdings, then represents an unrealized gain to AABB of 38 million. So the company is committed to its ongoing strategic expansion initiative to increase production and to add AABB's physical gold and silver holdings on a quarterly basis. So this is good news that came out, and this came out recently on November 12th, 2025. So despite that, the share price really has not moved. The most recent news here on 11/19, it looks like, says that Asia Broadband signs letter of intent for revolutionary Argo gold recovery system licensing as negotiations continue with other top-tier miners. So Asia Broadband is pleased to announce that subsequent to its recent acquisition of reduced graphene oxide nanotechnology for maximizing gold recovery, the company has signed a letter of intent with a top-tier mining company for a future licensing agreement. AABB continues advanced negotiations with other Latin American precious metal producers regarding licensing and joint venture deployment of its proprietary Argo platform. As the technical due diligence of the Argo recovery system advances under the non-disclosure and non-competition agreements for the LOI company and other potential licenses, no further details will be released until a formal agreement has been completed. So it looks like potential good news coming out, though. That's the thing. So this is a mining company. This is a gold and silver. If you look at what the overview of the company is, you can look at the company profile. Asia Broadband is a resource company focused on the production of precious metals and the accumulation of physical gold and silver holdings. The company utilizes its specific geographic expertise, experience, and extensive industry contacts to facilitate the expansion of precious metals property holdings and production in Mexico. The company's industry and business integration in Mexico and its asset diversification are unique strengths for AABB that differentiate it from the other companies and create a distinct value for shareholders. Additionally, the company has a digital assets business segment with AABBG mined to token gold-backed cryptocurrency within its own proprietary AABB wallet and the unique Golden Baboons Mining Club and Shorts Rascal Club NFT collections. Now, NFTs, come on, really? Are we going back down that rabbit hole again? AABB expects its token to become a worldwide standard of exchange that is stable, secured, and trusted with gold backing, while having the added benefit of demand-based price appreciation. These are unique and outstanding qualities relative to other cryptocurrencies and digital asset developers. So now you know more about the company, all right? But look at those technicals again and tell me, with the recent news, if you think this thing could potentially be undervalued. Now, let's look at a couple more headlines, right? Let's see what we have here. So beyond those headlines that we had, if we look at, so yeah, this is on 11/5, report increased gold and silver production and gross profit for third quarter. So it looks like increased its gold and silver production and profit for the period ending September 30th as gold and silver forecasts continue to rise. So there it is. Another positive piece of news there. And then going back to 10/15, Asia Broadband moves into final stages of preparation for federal legal action to protect shareholders from market manipulation. Now, that's interesting. So, spoofing and wash trading. Anyway, but yeah, these are some pieces of news that have come out recently. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the revenues are in the millions for this company. The assets are in the millions. I also encourage you to read their balance sheet. Look at their financials, right? So if you look at the actual disclosure, it should be under disclosure. You come over here to the quarterly report, and you see what their actual balance sheet is, what the actual total assets are, and everything else. So if we look at revenues and mineral production and all that, 3.6, 2.3, right? So you have all the revenues, millions of dollars in revenue. I also want to look at the, they have a net income, so that's good. But we also want to look at the balance sheet. So that's statement of stockholders' equity. I want to see the balance sheet. There it is. So assets, $48 million in cash, lots of cash. Total assets, $156 million. Total liabilities, I mean, they're basically a debt-free company, it looks like. So that's what I mean is they have a great balance sheet. So with these assets on the books, I mean, you have a lot of assets on the books here, a lot of assets, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I would say that with the assets and everything, I would say this company is potentially undervalued. The market cap is already at, a $58 million market cap. But beyond all the assets and the news and everything coming out for this company, the potential valuation, I'm just looking at this current support level. And I think this is going to be a key support level. So don't be surprised if we get a pretty good bounce off this level. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's my thoughts on this. But I'd love to hear what you think about Asia Broadband, AABB. Once again, this is a precious metals producer. this is a company that is focused on that. And so here we are. Asia Broadband 0.0142 is the current price. And let me know if you guys find this one interesting. What do you guys think of Asia Broadband Incorporated? Have you heard of this company before? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And as always, do your own due diligence based upon your risk tolerance, investing goals, and all that. Make sure you're understanding what you're investing in because it can be risky, and especially when it comes to penny stocks. So just keep that in mind. And thank you so much for watching this. Consult with a financial advisor if needed. And with that being said, we will see you in the next video. Take care.